What's going on, y'all? This is Rylan from Land Insights, and today I'm going to be going over a few different deals. I'm going to do some due diligence on those deals. I'm going to comp them, figure out if they're a good deal or not, figure out the value of them, and I'm going to throw in as well a couple different features that we just released that I've been utilizing to help me with that process. So I'll be going over about 3 different deals, and you guys can follow my exact framework for analyzing these deals and figure out the valuation of them. So without further ado, I'm just gonna open up a list of random properties that I selected that I'm gonna comp. So the first one is Hill County, Texas. This is the parcel number right here. So I'm just going to copy that parcel number, throw in Hill County, enter that parcel number, and boom, we are at the property. So basically, like, my framework for quick due diligence is, first and foremost, if we see additional properties right here, this means there's more properties in their own portfolio, in their real estate portfolio. So this person owns another property, it appears. So we're gonna go see what that one is. Looks like it's just a house, and then they own this piece of land further away. So if there was another property next to it, I would probably go comp that and make an offer on that one as well. But in this case, he just owns this piece out here. The next thing I'm gonna do is I will open up our data layers, make sure we have all hazards on and standard due diligence on. These are like all the important overlays we want to be analyzing so that we can catch any major red flags about the property. So honestly, I don't see any red flags about this property. It's bare, it's flat. You can see the contour line, there's only one line here. You can also throw it in 3D if you want, it's flat. You zoom in here, I can't quite see any power lines. It could be underground. There's houses right here and there's houses right here, which makes me think there probably is power along here. So there's probably power here. You probably get access to it. If not, you would barely have to pull in any power lines, so not a concern to me. We're in a very rural area. I don't think there's water out here. I doubt there's a septic system at all, so you would have to install that as a buyer if you wanted to develop on the land. So honestly, I don't see any major red flags, so I'm just going to jump into the comp tool. So comp report is available to our Land Insights Pro users. I live on this every day, comping multiple deals in my own business, so highly recommend it. So the first thing I'm going to look at is our main dashboard, which points out any possible red flags and important information. So not landlocked, road frontage is 325 feet, plenty to go build a driveway from the road, 0 wetlands, 0 flood zone, no HOA, no structure, ag land, makes sense. The county says it's 10.01 acres. And then right here is a new feature we just added, calculated acres versus county recorded acres. So basically what we do is we pull what the county says the size of the property is. So the county says it's 10.01 acres, and then we calculate the parcel overlay over here. And we calculated 9.82 acres. In this case, I'm gonna lean on the county recorded acres since that's generally pulled from the deed that they have. So this is most likely going to be the actual size of the property. But the reason why we added this in here is sometimes this number is the difference between these numbers is large, and that could mean it's not mapped correctly, that the county didn't map it correctly with their GIS. So we would want to point that out. 98% is very, very close. I'm going to assume it's 10.01 acres. But when this number gets 80% or lower, I start to get a little concerned, and I would want to go pull that survey on the piece of property. So like under 80%, I'll generally just call up Hill County. This is where this property is, Hill County. And I'll say, hey, this is the property, it's owned by this person, this is the parcel number. Could you please pull the deed for the property and then pull any additional surveys that you have on file for this property? And I would want to go look at that survey and see what it was actually surveyed out to. Sometimes you'll be able to get access to that survey, and then you can really identify how big the piece of property is and where it lies. But when you're below 80%, It could be mapped incorrectly and we don't quite know what the actual size is. A survey will be the source of truth for us. And in some cases, it's rare, but it happens. The county and Land Insights, the county says it's here, Land Insights says it's here. You would definitely want to identify where that location is, and the survey would be the source of truth. And that happens rarely, but it is good to identify that when it happens. So yeah, it's generally just a county surveying issue with the GIS that they have an issue and it's not mapped correctly. So you have to go find the source of truth in the survey, and that's the only place you can find that. So we're at a healthy number here. I'm going to assume it's 10.01 acres. We can see additional information. This guy lives out of the county in relation to the property. So that being said, no major red flags, no red flags at all really. And I'm going to go ahead and comp it. So you can see here, we have 10 to 20 acres. I'm going to feather this out. I'm going to go 8 to 14 acres. So now we're looking at comps between 8 and 14 acres. Blue is what is for sale, pink is under contract, and green is sold. Okay, so we just recently added the ability to filter the MLS comp status. So we can just show only the ones for sale if we want to. We would just click active. So now you can see we're only showing for sale comps. If we just want to see the pending, we can do that. If we just want to see the sold, we can do that. If we want to go back with our sold comps, we can do that. So my framework is I will start with active. So I'm curious, like, what is listed on the market right now and what would we have to compete with if we bought and listed this property for sale? So you can see here, 10.01 acres, it might be a neighboring property, is listed at roughly 14,000 an acre. We can go look at that if we want. Okay, and that appears to be the property just south of this. I believe it's this one. That's listed at 14,000 right now. We go over here. This is listed at 11,000 an acre. So I think it's this property right here, which is a nice piece. I would say that's relative to ours. I don't see any major red flags in the description. So the price to beat right now is 11,000 an acre. Let's see if there's anything listed lower nearby. This is listed at 10,700 an acre. That's a nice piece as well. Nothing lower. Okay, we have like a new subdivision. Honestly, there might be something wrong with the subdivision, assuming there's nothing built out here. I don't see a single built lot out here. It looks like someone's living in a trailer right there. There might be something up here. So honestly, I'm not gonna use those. Like there's nothing being built. There might be some weird restrictions out there, or maybe a problem with utilities. So that being said, the lowest comp I see is 10,700 an acre. So okay, so we have to compete with that comp. So now we can go into pending and see what's pending on the market right now. So this is pending at 13,000 acres, this is pending at 18,000, this is pending at 13,900. So we can put so there's only two kind of pending around that. Obviously it's a little higher than 13, but I'm just going to say around 13. And again, we want to be conservative. Like we have to compete with this listing, and we won't be competitive if we list at 13,000 an acre. So now we're gonna go to sold. Okay, so we have a comp here, 10,000 10,200 an acre, 10,400 an acre. Is there anything wrong here? Seems like a decent piece. Maybe a little bit of flooding. It might be in that little section right there. I think that's the property, or maybe it's this one. I can't tell. But there's definitely buildable areas over here. I'm not concerned about this. So 10,400 an acre. 10,800 an acre. So honestly, valuation, I saw 10,400 an acre. That competes with this listing right here. These notes always save, and you can save this link if you want and put it in your CRM. But yeah, these auto save. So that being said, 10,400 an acre is kind of our valuation right here. So we can just go in here, select this, and it automatically calculates the value of our land. So it takes this acreage, 10.01 acres, and it takes that comp, roughly 10,400 an acre. Our valuation is $104,000. So we can just go in here. If we want to offer 50% of that, our offer would be $52,000. If we want to do a range offer, we could do 40 to 60%. It would be that. You can always change these. You can offer 40%. You can offer 70%. You can adjust these and come up with your offers right here. So in this case, I'm just going to throw out an offer of 50%, 52,000, 32. That would be a really good deal. So that's what I would throw out. And then you can always negotiate if you want. Okay, so now that you guys kind of know the framework, I'm going to go a little faster on the next one. So this is a new one, Lincoln County, Tennessee. Okay, so this is 5 acres right here. Portfolio, let's check the portfolio. We can just find our property. We don't see anything right next to it. So we can look at the other stuff in this portfolio if we want. But in this case, I'm just gonna make an offer on that 5 acre piece. Let's just say that's the one we reached out on. And he only wants an offer on that. So everything's on. Again, I don't see any issues with this piece. Looks like there's power lines right there. You can see the shadows. Not sure about water. Possibly, considering these lots are so small, possibly not confirmed. You would have to ask around or do some more research, but we know there's power. So I'm just gonna comp this. I don't see anything, any flood zones, wetlands. It is flat. We're good. So comp report. Okay, so not landlocked, road frontage, 0 wetland, 0 flood zone, residential vacant land. All right, we got 89%. We'll probably find it's probably 5 acres. Calculated is slightly off, but it's not a concern to me. If it gets below 80%, I would probably go call up the county and get that survey. So now we can see this guy's owned it for 37 years. And 37 years ago, he bought it for $13,500, and he lives inside the zip code. So our offer definitely needs to be above that. He probably bought it really, really cheap, considering we're in Tennessee. Okay, so we're gonna zoom out, and I might put these comps. Let's go 4 to 7. Okay, so let's look at what's active right now. 27,000 acre. $27,000 an acre. In this other county, they're listed a little lower, 17,000. I just want to look at comps. There's really not a lot nearby, which is important for us. Is there anything pending? Only something up here. It's like roughly 16,000 an acre. So the source of truth is going to be sold, but we need to go back further. So this sold at 20,000 an acre, but it's kind of far away. Sold at 24,000. This sold really high. There's probably some type of electric and old barn. So it sold really high. I don't know why it sold so high. Okay, we go back another year. Okay, we see something for 32,000, but that's again like a nice barn. We can't use that comp. We want to go off of vacant land only. This sold at 18,500 an acre. These appear to be duplicates. Yeah, looks like some subdivision. I like to go off subdivision comps because these guys are investors and they're trying to sell it quick, so they're probably selling it at a conservative value. So I want to say that's probably the conservative value because they had to sell 4 other or 5 other lots in that subdivision. Okay, let's go back another year. Sold at 65, sold at 12,000, 15,000. Sold it, that's duplicate. Sold at 15. But in the last year, market has gone up a little bit. It's a tricky one for sure. We can jump into these comps as well. Let's see what's going on down here. 20,000, 26,000. Might be something wrong with that. I mean, there's no description, there's no pictures. I don't know what's going on with that listing. This one, there's got to be something wrong with this. This could be used for recreation and hunting. If it was buildable, they'd say like, build your dream home on this. But yeah, there's something wrong with this if they just say recreation and hunting. So we can't use that comp. And then we go back 3 years, we can see 25,000 an acre right here. Looks like it's buildable. But man, yeah, we're all over the place. In these cases, I go pretty conservative. And honestly, I really liked that comp on this subdivision. Was it this one? Yeah, it was this subdivision comp. It's conservative. But like, what if it was one of these? Wait, let's see which one it was. So this was 7 acres. Which one is the 7 acre? Oh, it's frustrating. I can't tell. So, I mean, that's conservative, but what one of those lots could have been one you had to build your own road on, and that would decrease the value. So honestly, I'm gonna lean towards this 20K an acre comp. So I'm gonna select that, and valuation is 100 grand. We can go down here, make our offer. If we wanna do 50%, it'd be 50 grand. Okay, let's jump into the next one. All right, we have a bigger piece. My data layers are on. It's a little cleared. That's fine. In North Carolina, they like cleared land anyways. Okay, we have a road right here. There's gotta be power, my assumption. Yeah, there's a house right here. There's definitely power poles right here. There's a house right here. Yeah, power should not be an issue. Okay, so I don't see anything wrong with it. Does he own anything next to it? Okay, so that's our piece. He also owns this. We could always make an offer on this one as well. He may want to sell this one, but in this case, let's just make an offer on this. Okay, not landlocked, road frontage, 0 wetland, 0 flood zone. We do have a lot of road frontage, and this is 37 acres. I know that in North Carolina, like generally the statewide exemption is 10 acres or above. So we could do a minor subdivision above 10 acres. Since it's not 40, we can't do 4, so we'd have to do 3 lots. So we can comp it as the 37 acres, or we can comp it as chopped up into 3-acre pieces. We have enough road frontage to pull that off. The lots won't look that funky. So I'll do both those comps. Guy lives out of zip, nice. And calculated acres, 93%. It's probably 37.84. And it's probably in the right location, assuming it's not off that much. All right, so 37 acres, let's comp it as is first. Okay, we'll start with our actives. Okay, so we have Burlington right here. So I think it's the farther we get away from this town, the cheaper it's gonna get. So we wanna try to comp stuff around here. I would not like to comp stuff from over here, to be honest. These are probably worth more than something out here. So this is listed at 12K, but there's no photos. I'm really not gonna use that comp. I like to see pictures and I like to see a good description. If there's no pictures, I don't use it because it could be bad data from the MLS. That's listed at 18,000 an acre. These are kind of far, but 18, 17. Jump to pending. It's pending at 5K. Protected by a conservation easement. 25 acres of it. Heavily restricted. Okay, so it's buildable on 12 acres, but the rest of it you can't build on, which is kind of a downside. Okay, so we see that at 5K. That's kind of a low valuation. These are pending at 10K, but again, they're far away. So the source of truth in this situation too is going to be sold. Let's see how much data we have. Okay, so 5,400. I sold at 12K. 2.2. No pictures. I'm not going to use that. No pictures. Not going to use that. We can use this, but again, it's a little closer to Burlington. 13K. We gotta go back a year. 7K. Is that conservation piece again? No. Okay, so a lot of the acreage on this piece gets taken up by this road access. They did a weird subdivision, and I mean, this is probably like 6 acres alone. So not the best comp, but that was 6,000 an acre, roughly. No picture, 12K. Again, I don't think we have enough data. We need to go back. Okay, now we have some stuff. Okay, 5K. Yeah, okay, picture right here. No HOA, no restrictions. Okay, it had a septic approval permit, nice. That means it's buildable. So that's a good comp to go off of, but it is 3 years ago. And that's at 5,000 an acre. And then we have this at 10K. And at 12, but again, these are closer to the city right here. They're gonna be worth more. So honestly, we gotta hit somewhere like in between. So assuming this is 3 years ago, let's just adjust for inflation a little bit and say like today's value is probably 6,300. So we'll say that's worth 6,300. Okay, and then this is a little closer. This is worth 12,000 an acre. We'll go somewhere in between these two. So 6,300. 12,000 an acre, so in between that is what, 9K an acre. So let's just call it 9K an acre value. Got to get a little scrappy here. Not super confident, but we're probably somewhere close. So we can go find a 9K an acre comp if we want. Yeah, I think this is close enough. Select it. Okay, value is 338,000. Okay, now we're gonna do sub value. And we're gonna assume we just chop them up evenly into 3 pieces. So 37.84 divided by 3 is 12.6 acres. Okay, so now we're gonna wanna unselect that comp. Just go down. Unselect. Okay, we got a fresh drawing board now. And now we're going to adjust our comps down to 12.6. We're going to comp it like it's 12.6 acres. So we can go like 9 to 15. Okay, we'll start at our active. Listed at 19. I'm just picking out the cheap ones. I don't want to look at the expensive ones. It's irrelevant. It's listed on the market. It hasn't sold yet. Okay, 15, 14.3, 14. So price to beat's 14. These are far away, irrelevant. Let's look at pending. That's pending at 17,400. Already has a septic permit. Since it already has a septic permit, it might bring up that value. Let's look at solds. Really not a lot to go off of. Okay, now I got stuff close by. Okay, so this sold at 16,500. Well, and septic permits, nice. You know, it's buildable. Go back again. It's around 14. That was 3 years ago. You gotta adjust for inflation a little bit. Okay, but this one was weird. There was that pending one. Where was it? Pending at 17. But then you have your actives, 14. So two different 14K in acres. So we gotta compete with these. I know they're like a little far away, but they're kind of like the same situation. Far from a city, kind of the same area. So I'm just gonna say conservative valuation's 14K an acre. So then we can just pick a 14K an acre comp. So that's close enough. Subdivided value is 526,000. So yeah, pretty good margin if you subdivide this. So it could make sense to just do a little minor subdivision. You might sit on the properties listed for a little longer, but definitely worth a near 200K price increase. So you can keep that into account when you're making an offer. Maybe offer doesn't work for as is flip, but maybe it works for your subdivision if you want to do a subdivision. So yeah, hopefully you guys found this helpful. And yeah, definitely start using these new tools. I really like this filtering ability in the comp tool. And then this is always helpful for due diligence and making sure we're looking at the right property and the right size. All right, later guys.